Part 1. The Bible never names Pharaoh's daughter, but Josephus did. Join us as we start the journey to find her in history. A princess comes down to the Nile, Pharaoh's own daughter. She notices a small basket hidden among the reeds. When she opens it, she sees a crying Hebrew baby, and instead of ordering his death, she feels compassion. She chooses to save him, defy her father's decree, and even allows his own mother to raise him. Then she gives him a name, Moses, the child drawn out of the water, a child raised in the house of Pharaoh himself. But Scripture never tells us her name. So the question is, can we find Pharaoh's daughter in history? The answer is yes. Historically, Pharaoh's daughter can only come from two royal households, the daughters of Ahmose I or the daughters of Thutmose I. In Egyptian history, these royal princesses include figures such as Ahmose Meritamun and Mutnofret. Jewish and extra-biblical tradition preserves Pharaoh's daughter as Thermuthis, alongside Hebrew names such as Bithia. This places both traditions in the same time period, allowing the names to be compared directly. From the Egyptian royal household, we narrow the field by scanning the known princesses and identifying the most viable historical candidates. From Jewish and extra-biblical tradition, we narrow the list to the names that still preserve an Egyptian form. When both lists are reduced side by side, only one pairing remains that fits both the historical window and the linguistic evidence: Mutnofret and Thermuthis. At the core of both names stands the same divine element, Mut, and this is where the historical trail finally becomes visible. The cartouche on the statue of Mutnofret can be read through two distinct scholarly approaches. Formal Egyptological transcription renders it as Mutnofret, while Greek honorific translation yields Thermuthis. What follows will explore both identities, Mutnofret as she appears in the hieroglyphic record, and Thermuthis as she emerges through Greek sources. Looking at the cartouche, we can see how pronunciation emerges from the symbols. The first bread loaf gives us the feminine definite article. Next is the vulture, the religious symbol for the goddess Mut, pronounced Mut. The heart and windpipe represents Nefer, though in practice this was often simplified or even dropped in compound names, which shifted emphasis to the goddess name. Finally, another bread loaf provides that second the sound at the end. So someone unfamiliar with formal transcription rules, seeing these symbols at the start of a name, would naturally pronounce it as the Mut the, which brings us remarkably close to Thermuthis.
Now let's see how the Greeks adapted this into Thermuthis. They started with theta, pronounced thi, which matches the Egyptian dental T sound from that bread loaf. Then comes epsilon, a filler vowel the Greeks added to make consonant-heavy Egyptian names pronounceable. The rho preserves that R sound we saw in the Egyptian hieroglyph written with the mouth symbol. Here's the key connection. The Greek mu, spelled M-O-U in Greek, is a long U sound, exactly like Mut. This lines up perfectly with how the Egyptians pronounced the goddess Mut. Then we get another theta for Thave, epsilon as another filler vowel, and finally sigma, that Greek grammatical ending they routinely added to foreign names to fit their declension patterns. So Thermuthis is essentially the Greek phonetic rendering of the Mut the, adapted to follow Greek linguistic rules. And here we see the remarkable convergence. The Greek letters of Thermuthis map directly onto the Egyptian hieroglyphs of Mutnofret. Theta and epsilon capture that opening bread loaf, the. Rho corresponds to the mouth in the Nefer symbol. The Greek mu, that long oo sound, perfectly preserves the pronunciation of the vulture, the goddess Mut, and the final theta, epsilon, and sigma echo the closing hieroglyphs with Greek grammatical endings added. What we're witnessing here isn't a translation, it's a transliteration. The Greeks heard the Mutnofret and wrote down what they heard using their own alphabet, adding just enough vowels and endings to make it pronounceable in Greek. Two entirely different writing systems separated by language and culture, yet both preserving the same sound, the name of an Egyptian queen who would be remembered in both traditions. This is why an uneducated reading of Mutnofret and the Greek Thermuthis sound virtually identical, because they are fundamentally the same name. We know the name. Now we need to prove the identity. In Part 2, we test whether Egyptian Queen Mutnofret and Josephus's Thermuthis are not just the same name, but the same woman. Does the chronology fit? Does the royal lineage match? Can we actually place Moses' adoptive mother in Egypt's historical record? If you want to see the evidence, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss Part 2. The historical evidence awaits.